Well, it's early morning and it looks like gold and silver are back in the green again, and that is good news. But then again, it's better news coming out of India. So as of now, we're looking at 41.45 for gold and 49.15 for silver. As it's becoming more obvious, there's no way of keeping sound money down for long. But then again, silver is taking a new place in the monetary system. Could it be that India is holding a kryptonite that could unravel the bullion bank's 50-year silver manipulation? I'm not sure because it's too early to tell. But one thing is for sure, India is unleashing silver as bank collateral with a 10-to-1 gold silver ratio. And that, my friends, is something worth talking about. All right, today is going to be a doozy. So as always, looking forward to sharing my 2 cents on a variety of subject matter, and in particular silver, which happens to be the kryptonite towards Wall Street's capturing of the global monetary system. And wherever silver goes, that will drive the rest of the commodity space, aka precious metals industry, as well as rare earths and everything in between. So I got a couple headlines here, as well as some sentiment in the social media sphere in reference to this India remonetization and slash collateralization of silver back into the banking system. And once again, with that type of activity, there's no way that the manipulators within the futures game can continue their streak of suppressing silver and in particular gold from reaching its true fiat-based price. But then again, never say never. But let's just jump right into it. I don't want to waste any time. I want to get straight to the point. All right, so as I look at my screen right now, we have, as I mentioned, 49.11. And so when the markets open up here in the Western Hemisphere and they're still green, that is very promising given the fact it's still early. But as I mentioned, if 50 was the potential floor, now we got to get back to 50. And then once we get to 50, then we'll see what that breakthrough looks like. And so today is unique in of itself because of what I consider to be the Modi or Prime Minister of India or the Indian banking structure desire to reinstate silver back into the monetary structure within the country of India. And of course, India has been a driving force to the recent valuations of silver and in particular gold. And so make no mistake, there's not much BRICS news excitement right now. I mean, I'm referring to Brazil, Russia, India, China, and South Africa and all the other partnering nations. But clearly, with gold and silver responding the way it has over the last several months, outside of all the Western drama that we're experiencing between tariffs, shutdowns, and all that other stuff, gold and silver is the primary focus on a global monetary scale. So I have to touch on it as much as I can, just because the goal is always to reach people who may not know what real money is. And that's what rethinking the dollar is all about. And so for those who might be new, you never know, hit that thumbs up button, show your support for the channel. And if you have any thoughts, ideas, suggestions on content ideas or subject matter that matters to you outside of this, then drop a comment and let me know what you're thinking. And if you have not, hit that subscribe button. And more importantly, the things I want to get to today is definitely something that everybody should be hearing about. And so take this and share it so more people can come across an alternative perspective as to what's really happening here. And so let's just jump into the headline article, not waste any time, people. This is going to be a doozy, I believe. Okay, so here we got out of Jerusalem Post. This came out, let me see, this was yesterday, I think. And so October 22nd, it came out from the Silver Academy. And so once again, this is the news source here. I'm just going to take it and share my 2 cents on it and just highlight some of the information because I haven't really seen it circulating, especially on any mainstream channels. But we're going to walk through it and just lay things out bit by bit to understand the importance of gold and silver, and in particular, how it's been reinstated back into the banking structure in India. And it's good to say they're not going to be the only ones. And so it says here, India formally recognizes silver as bank collateral with a 10-to-1 gold silver ratio, reshaping lending, boosting demand, and igniting a new era for silver as a global monetary metal. That is interesting. So here we go. Let's just jump into it. It says India has taken a historic step towards remonetization of silver, officially allowing the white metal to serve as collateral for bank and non-bank loans under the new Reserve Bank of India. Regulation set to take effect in April of 2026. So here we have some very interesting and direct and specific policy shifts, bringing gold or silver back into the fold. And what I find unique about this already is the fact that we know gold has been reinstated as, tier one structure collateral amongst the Western banking structure, according to the whole Basel situation from, I want to say 2018, 2019, when I started talking about that. And it's been hushed for the most part. And so that's one thing that we also haven't considered as of lately in reference to the race to get gold, because gold has taken a major surge over the last year plus, and it has a lot to do, I believe, with the whole banking structure in the European region getting back into gold and putting it on their balance sheets as a form of collateral, on top of all the other things I talked about, reference to nation states as well as institutions dialing back on the outright usage of U.S. liabilities in the form of our debt instruments. And so here we now have silver from the nation state of India, and India is a heavy consumer of silver from jewelry standpoint, and now an investable grade product in form of lending within the banking structure. So that right there cannot be denied, because it is monumental in and of itself, because it's going to drive the demand for silver even more. And of course, gold and silver is already embedded into the psyche of the Indian people. It just haven't caught up to us over here in the Western Hemisphere, because we've been very privileged to use debt and credit as a way of supporting and creating this global hegemony that we have in the fiat system. But maybe that's changing. Okay, back into this article. Give it to you straight here. It says here, the move effectively reestablishes 10-to-1 silver to gold ratio in collateral lending, marking the first time a major economy has formally recognized silver role alongside gold in modern banking. So here we have 10-to-1 silver to gold ratio. And so as of right now, we've been hovering around the 80 to 1 gold to silver ratio with some fluctuations here or there. But once again, 10-to-1, that is a more realistic, straight out of the ground type of ratio there. And so that was not by accident. And to me, that signals that they recognize the true, out of the earth, pure, without any manipulation ratio of gold and silver, or more importantly, the importance and the rarity of silver when it comes to gold. So if gold is numero uno, silver shouldn't be that far behind in reference to its availability above ground. And what makes silver even that much more special is that it's consumed. It's not just something you put on the shelf and just let it sit there. It's actually utilized. And that, my friends, is something that can't be denied as well. And so we're going to hear and see a lot more interesting developments when it comes to the usage of silver as this whole AI, robotics, quantum situation picks up, because I really believe that we haven't even tapped into a small fraction of what silver has the potential to be able to do, from a health standpoint to technology standpoint, and to just things that we haven't even tapped into yet. So believe me, as more revelation on the power of silver that God has given us as the inheritors, as well as the dominion representatives of this earth here, we ain't even touched the usages of silver and perhaps even gold. So that right there is positive as well. Okay, but just get into it. It says silver joins gold in India's banking system. It says for decades, Indian households have relied on gold jewelry as a primary form of collateral for personal and business loans, especially in rural areas with limited access to credit. So this this boils down to basically providing a credit-based slash growth opportunity for the Indian people who are already holders of large amounts of gold. It allows them to interact with the banking structure. So now they're incorporating silver into it. So this gets into the opportunities that we in the Western Hemisphere may not realize and take advantage of ourselves, especially as individuals that are metal enthusiasts, meaning that being able to take advantage of our wise stewardship and early possession of metals, to being able to borrow against that for fiat sake, for investment sake, for whatever it is that a person might have in their strategy when it comes to investing. It says the new rules expand the privilege of silver, jewelry, and ornaments, enabling borrowers to pledge up to 10 kilograms of silver or 1 kilo of gold as collateral for loans up to 2.5 rupees, I'll say it at that, which is approximately $3,000. So literally, if a person naturally saved in sound money and wanted to pay off some bills or make some transactions in fiat terms, they can use their gold and or silver, as it says here, 10 kilos of silver or 1 kilogram, and use it within the banking structure and get a loan against it. That right there, my friends, reinstates and shows the significance in gold and silver purely. And so here it says the policies applies to both bank and non-banking financial companies, a sector that serves millions of small borrowers and introduces uniform valuation and documentation standards to ensure transparency. And so it goes on to give you here, say, a modern monetary shift. If implemented as reported, the change would make India the first country in modern history to set a structured monetary benchmark for silver, recognize it as a parallel store of value to gold. The measure limits collateral to physical holdings, excluding ETFs, coins exceeding certain weights, and non-jewelry bullion, reinforcing demand for tangible metal held by household and small businesses. It says why it matters for silver prices. It says silver's use of collateral adds a powerful financial dimension to its industrial and investment demand. The metal is essential to solar panels, electric vehicles, medical instruments, and military electronics, yet global supply has been running deficits for several years. And so here it goes on to give you more context as to what's happening. But these are some things policy-wise that are floating on the books there in India. And if things move forward, it's going to create a ripple effect that every nation state will have to recognize, because not only will it put more pressure on the silver demand, but yet the unavailability of free-floating silver sitting in vaults just doing nothing will become even more scarce, because everybody will be clamoring to get a hold of physical, whether it be for utility sake and all the things I just mentioned, whether it means savings for the average retail investor, mom and pops that can actually afford silver at about $50 an ounce right now, and or institutions that want to get involved in this space by and securing silver and gold on their part for the sake of a savings mechanism for the company's sake as well as the nation state's sake. And then you're going to have the products and services that will be created off of these things here that will also spark a demand into physical. So with all this being said, it's the gold to silver ratio that will ultimately need to be addressed, because the bullion banks in the Western Hemisphere, the futures contracts, has it 80-1 or 7-1. It comes out of ground at 7-1-ish. India is reinstating potentially a 10-1. And then we have China, who's going to be doing something similar, if not already. And then, of course, Russia. So the BRICS nations will be forced to recognize this. And what does that do to the Western Hemisphere? It's going to put more pressure on the U.S. and Europe to figure out how to either slam it down further or let it go and let it just rip to numbers that we haven't seen. But they won't do that, because why? It'll take away from the digital distractions that they want the world to move into. And so once again, if the average Joe and Jay realizes silver is the last place and the only place that the people should be first and foremost, they're going to be deterred from actually going towards the things that we're being driven towards, and that's the digital side. It's not going to stop, Wall Street from capturing the system. It won't stop, this current administration and all the people around him, as far as, the advocates for the decentralized tech and everything like that, and the merger of the Fed and Treasury together to come up with some digital, revaluation of, whatever, to try to play off the national debt. It won't stop that, because once again, there's nothing that can stop this train, but it's more so slowing things down. That would be the goal. You can't stop the move towards the one world approach with there being a singular currency and stuff like that. You can't stop that. But what we can do is wake people up, inform them to the importance of sound money and their need to get a hold of it as fast as they can, as soon as they can, from a wealth preservation standpoint. That right there can potentially throw some wrinkles in the plans of the orchestrators of this entire experience that we're having right now. Just because, once again, from what I'm sitting and what I pay attention to, ain't nothing changed. The same people who control the system are still calling the shots. But then again, they have some things that excite people along the way, and it happens to be Bitcoin. But then again, as I mentioned, this is just what's happening, people. And so let me just give you some thoughts and ideas and suggestions based upon what's happening in the social media sphere right now, just to see what other people are saying. So here we got on X, we have Make Gold Great Again, and he has major news. India will formally allow silver to be used as loan collateral from April 26. Says interesting, borrowers only need 10 kilos of silver for 1 kilo of gold. What a ratio. So it shows Modi here dressed up as like an old, silver bug or something. Then we have Eric Young says India is already using physical gold and silver as collateral for their banking system. Wow. And then just more thoughts here. So here's something where it says here, India purchased 1,000 tons of silver and 50 tons of gold, which is 5% and 2% of annual mine production, respectively, on Diwali, the festival. And then you got the article I just talked about here. And then just more thoughts and suggestions here. So clearly, only in the social media sphere are people talking about this, because you'll never see it on mainstream news. You'll never realize, what they don't want people to know. They just don't talk about it. But then again, that's why I'm here to tell you, so that you know, so that now that you know about this now, is just more of a reminder of the importance of continuing to stack, get your weight up, do what you do best, protect and preserve yourself, because nobody in a suit's going to do it for you. It's all up to you. So that's why I trust that you're going to get this video, put it out to people, share it in your socials, or send it directly to a family or friend who might have been questioning all the things that you've been telling them forever. Let them know that Mike over at Rethinking the Dollar is still trying to get people to rethink the Federal Reserve note, just because not all dollars are created equal. As I always say, there's a difference between this silver dollar and this dollar, because this is a debt instrument backed by full faith and confidence of the user of it. Whereas in, say, let me give you some other things here. So say back in 1960 something or another, this silver certificate was redeemable for something of this nature. And so most people of the younger generation may not know that. You know that, of course, so let the other people know, because fiat notes were always meant to be redeemed. And because the banks no longer acknowledge that, it's up to you to do that. Anyway, I can go on forever, but I'm not. I want to be short, sweet, and to the point. Curious to hear what you guys thought. If you found value, as always, drop a comment, take this, share it, like it. If you're new, make sure you subscribe, take this and put it out there. And also, don't want to give you all this information without also suggesting some things that you can participate in. And one of them in particular happens to be the silver team. So it's a matter of getting physical. So as you can see here, Quicksilver, and this is just a little toolkit, 20 ounces just sitting. This is what's available for those who want to get directly involved in the silver game. And that's why I encourage people, if you haven't, make sure you check out the silver team. And so this is an opportunity for everybody to get physical. All it takes is 1 ounce at a time. And this is available through the Quicksilver Wealth Accelerator program. And as I show you guys here, these are some other individuals that have been stacking 1 ounce at a time. It's no rush. Just get what you can, how you can, when you can. And you can automate it and have it sent to you directly, 1, 4, or 10 or whatever. And you can just add to your stack bit by bit. And in doing so, you are protecting and preserving everything you work hard for. And if you get involved as a member, you get your own link where you can share with family and friends and also be a recipient of discount or perhaps free silver to add to your stack. But anyway, my silver team, links in the description, as all the other resources down there. Catch you guys later. Shalom.